Niall, thank you so much for bringing me to your favourite bar, the Straw Hall in Strawberry Beds, Dublin.
Yeah, Gary, lovely spot. One of my favourites just because of the location, really, I suppose. It's a little slice of countryside right in the middle of Dublin there. So you might as well be, I don't know, in West Cork when you're down in the Straw Hall. It's absolutely beautiful spot.
Isn't it amazing? The photograph there, you know it better than I do, but it just encapsulates everything. It's got low tables, high stools, and there's something going on in that back room always, I reckon.
Yeah.
You know, it's so...
A little bit of messing.
Yeah. a bit of messing.
Yeah. There's actually, to your right-hand side, there's a little table there. I think it's called a bagatelle, a game of bagatelle. So, yeah, that way.
This? Yeah. Yeah, all right.
Somewhere, that way. Yeah, but no, there's a little table there, Gary. I'm pretty sure. I'm not certain of this now, but I think it's a game of bagatelle. And I've seen our lads in there playing the game. I think there's little pegs in the. It's like a little mini pool table, and it has pegs in it. And you have to strike the billiard. Is that right? Yeah, strike the ball, and it's to go through into the hole past the peg. And if you knock over a peg, I think it's bagatelle.
Gee, Mac, and I know you're into music stuff, but I always thought that was just a made-up band name.
No, I think it's an actual game. Yeah, you'll see it in there. The last time I was there was still there anyway. So it's been a while since I've been in the Straw Hall, unfortunately.
That's the type of stuff that's hard to recreate, you often think. I know that there's a great brand around the world for Irish bars, but most of them are 20 years old. It's the notches on the pegs that have been hit.
Yeah. Well, that place is ancient, you know. It's genuine, you know. It's cash only, so you know it's good. Yeah, there's only the one telly. I think there's one telly or two tellies maybe in it. That's it, and they're only an afterthought, you know, that sort of way. So,
and the Strawberry Beds, for those that maybe aren't overly familiar with Dublin, it sounds like you are in the countryside in the middle of Dublin. The Strawberry Beds, is it actually a place they grow stuff, or is that just the name of the area?
I think that's just the name. Yeah, there is farms around there though. There is little bits of farmland going on. You see a few bits of silage going on and that, but I don't see strawberries now, to be honest with you.
No, and let's not. It's nearly lunchtime where we're doing this recording, so we won't talk about food too much. Just
no, getting a bit hungry.
So listen, we're there. The door opens up, and apart from yourself, obviously, who on earth, dead or alive, would you love to be walking in to have a chat and a pint with you?
Well, you know, I thought about this quite a lot, and it was the dead people that came up first in my head, and I was thinking like, Brian Boru or someone. If you can pick anyone, you know, it'd be someone like that. But I think someone alive is more fitting because I know it just gives a more personal thing to it. So Shane MacGowan anyway. I'd love to have
the lead singer of the Pogues.
That's right. Yeah. Fascinating man. I've loved him, listened to him for years. So I'd love to. I don't know what sort of shape he's in now, but I think he's a bit better. But I'd love to sit and have a pint with him just to know what's going on in that man's head after writing all them songs and
isn't it exciting?
Living that life. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see a documentary now. Mightn't be a great one, where he got a whole new set of teeth.
Right. For Christmas, was it? Yeah.
Genuinely, was a bit like that.
Yeah.
I think the sense I got was that he found a life partner, and she seemed to be able to, like, for a while, and she seemed to be
Victoria Clarke, I think, yeah.
And she seemed to have been able to, not that she's a saint herself, but she was certainly able to keep him, because what you're alluding to there about what's gone on in his life, he lived it hard, right?
He did. He played very hard now, in fairness, and like there were stages when I used to go see him in the Point back. That's good. It's over 20 years ago now, and you know, he was up on stage and he actually had a good voice. Then a year later, I'd see him, he'd be wheeled out in a wheelchair, and you know, so we went through. I've seen him in various different guises, if you know what I mean. So no, fascinating character.
He reminds me a little bit, and maybe because of the lyrics and the words and stuff, of sort of Brendan Behan, that ilk of
yeah
sort of they obviously have their personal challenges, but the words that they seem to be able to conjure from somewhere.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
And unlike being, though, I often think to people, unfortunately, what people have written him off with is, I don't really like that music, but they're probably missing the point, are they? About
completely, yeah. And I think he's going to be one of them guys that, you know, in 20, 30 years time, people will look back on what he's written as poetry. You know, it'll be very similar, you know.
Isn't that the truth? And I often say that to my own kids at the moment, is you may not like punk rock, you may not like, you know, a style of music, but have a look at the lyrics.
Yeah.
And
unreal.
Yeah, a lot of the lyrics, even for bands or a genre of music you may not be into, you know, don't let that dissuade you from listening to the story, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. And like when you write down some of them lyrics, as I said, like you just mentioned, if you take out the music in it, the stuff is poetry, you know. And it's fascinating that a fella like that, when you've actually looked at him and listened to him, you say, he's not writing that, is he really? You know, you know,
and for those again who may not be overly familiar with Shane MacGowan, he obviously has the greatest selling ever Christmas song, right?
That's right, yeah. Fairy Tale in New York, yeah. I think everyone gets a little bit sick of it now, come the second week of Christmas, but yeah.
I know they do, but you still it still does it for you the first week.
Oh, it does, yeah. If you're down in the middle of town there after a work night out or something like that, you'd be up singing that in no time. Like, yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely, but again, a great story and tragedy throughout that song itself with the co-singer and stuff. She had a short life, but a great life, I think. Kirsty MacColl, was that right?
Kirsty MacColl, that's right. Yeah.
So I guess I know why this question. So the second sort of question I'd ask you is, so give us your favorite quote, and I'm thinking it might be from Shane MacGowan.
Well, it is from Shane MacGowan. It's from a song of his called "A Rainy Night in Soho." So actually, it's just a snippet from it. I'm not singing for the future. I'm not dreaming of the past. I'm not talking of the first times. I never think about the last. It's just a snip from that song, and I just think it's a bit like live in the moments. Don't think about things too much. I just think it's a lovely couple of sentences. So yeah.
And for a lad like myself who talks way too much, I'd so love on occasion, regularly, to be able to synopsize in 4 lines, short lines, what probably it's all about, to have peace of mind, because I guess that's what that is just saying.
It is, yeah. It's like, just don't be overthinking things, live in the now. I suppose you can't always live in the now, but it's kind of just letting you know that, you know, don't be taking it serious. This future's going to come. It's just, the past is what it is. It's just, I just think it's a lovely couple of sentences, to be honest.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't matter whether that has a mood music of Irish dancing, Irish music, or punk rock. If you can find the words, it comes out and it slaps you between the eyeballs. So, is there anything interesting? Okay, right. You're a highly accomplished engineer. We put that aside. We won't hold that totally against you because it's a family show. But is there anything interesting about you that a lot of people don't know?
Yeah, I suppose I've a parent there from Mayo. My dad's from Mayo.
He's had a lot of pain now.
He's a lot of pain, yeah. Consistent pain, you know. So yeah, but we used to go. We have a big enough family. We have 5 kids, not that big, probably average enough for an Irish family. But
for that era, yeah.
So we used to go camping down to a place called Lewisburg in Mayo. I don't know if you know it, but it's fairly remote. But my dad used to bring a friend of his along with another bunch of kids. So we used to head off down, and I don't know if you call this camping, Gary, but stuff was chucked in the back of a car. About 13 kids went down the beach, and we'd go down. Between 13 of us, we might have 3 cans of beans and 6 sausages for the weekend, and no tin opener. You know, I just remember being starving, like, you know, and I was way down the pecking order with my brother, so you'd be stabbing the can, you know, trying to get it open with the knife, no tin opener. But there was one morning we were 6 in the morning, whatever. It's getting bright anyway. Zip up the tent, and the tide had come in around us. And we're surrounded like on an island there. The tide had come fully in. Like the whole thing was the most disorganized mess, but it was just absolutely just great memories of going down to Mayo. And I don't know, camping trip is a stretch. You know, we had a tent, and that was about it. Like,
normally the tent.
Normally
the tent is to keep the rain off you.
Yeah.
But it's not great when you're actually in the middle of the sea.
Yeah, look, the only patch of, I don't know how to describe it. Do you ever see a beach where there's a little bit of a grass verge that comes right down to it? We just on that grass verge, but the sea, high tide had come in and surrounded us, and so we had to wait till the tide subsided and went back out, and off we went again. And just great memories of being down there, and just.
Well, I guess that there are, and without question, of a gang of kids myself, so I understand we're creating memories all the time, but there doesn't seem to be those extreme stories anymore, because we're sort of all planning and apps and Airbnb and stuff, but exactly what you were saying there. We used to go up to the feather beds here up in the Dublin mountains, and it used to be sausages on an open butane can, right? And I mean, but it was never seemed to be an issue. But 2 out of every 10 of those cans used to just explode.
Oh, yeah.
Right, just bang. And you never thought anything about, well, maybe I shouldn't buy another one. You just went straight back to Lenihan's.
Yeah.
No, another one. Now, on both your story and possibly my story, there'll be definitely somebody who would report you to the cruelty to children.
Oh, well, listen, if that was a thing back in the early 90s or late 80s, that trip alone would be starvation, there'd be like neglect. But on top of it all, there was just great crack, I just remember being starving and just being told, off you go. There was a mountain beside, off you go. I don't see you later. See you later. Like, you'd be swimming and
Not to mention, to get down there, you probably had 7 kids in a car that was capable of 4 and no safety belts.
Nothing. All jammed in there. Like, on top of each other. The
whole thing. And you still managed, and your father and mother still managed to get 5 of you through the other end.
I don't know how.
We're all fingers. We're all fingers intact and all toes. That's
just about. You have a few scars, a few lumps, but all good.
They're fun bumps, man. They're fun bumps.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Niall, listen, it's been short and sharp, and I nearly had a tear gone down my face from laughing. Not just about your story, but that time, and maybe even my time 20 years before you, of the stuff that we were allowed to do and nearly was seen as the norm. What did you do the weekend? I got caught in the high tide down in Leesburg. What did you do? I got stuck up the mountain and the butane exploded, but we're all and it wasn't
it's completely different to now. But like, I suppose now has its benefits, but then it was a bit crazy looking back at some of the stuff, really.
A bit crazy. But I think we all need a bit of craziness, We're
absolutely.
And even you telling me that story, you've increased the endorphins in my brain, and it made me laugh greatly. So Niall, thank you so much. It's been short and sharp, as I say, but it's been good. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Gary. Cheers.
See you.